Hi, welcome to the second episode of Poetry with Matt. I'm your host, Matthew Gillis. And a happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there. Although this may not air on St. Patrick's Day, today is the 17th, so a happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. So I brought along a few chapbooks that I've written. One I wrote in one of my poetry classes at UNH, and it's called Pictures of Hope. Now in here, I've got one love poem that I'd like to read to you. It's called Just Tell Me. Tell me it was all a mistake. Tell me it was past feelings mixed with alcohol. Tell me it was nice, but now it's over. Tell me you found the one, and it's not me. Tell me you were confused. Tell me you just want to be friends. Tell me you don't want to hurt my feelings, but tell me I'm just not right for you. Tell me I'm a loser no smart girl would want. Tell me it meant nothing. Better yet, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me everything will be all right. Just tell me something, anything, everything. Or tell me nothing and kiss me softly. Tell me I'm not crazy for thinking I have a chance. Or tell me it's over, like the other smart girls. Just tell me. Tell me you love me, just once, and I'll never ask again. That was a little excerpt from Pictures of Hope. And one of the ones we were reading through last time was the How I Beat Cancer book. Got a lot of good responses from this. But the thing is, I wrote this a while ago. And I really want to get out some of the new material that I've been working on. So for my next book, which I've almost finished, it is called Delicious Contradictions. And I don't have these ones printed out yet, but I brought my trusty computer over here, and I'd like to read a few from Delicious Contradictions. This one's called If You're Lucky. In this life, if you're lucky, you get a collection of magical moments, a handful of true friends, and if you're really lucky, a shot at love. Well, to confess, now truly blessed to possess all these and more today, if just once this life I might have guessed the price I'd have to pay. Still through this price arose a peace this soul had never known before. So slap this now newborn 36-year-old and guide him toward enlightenment. This next one I'd like to read is called Superego. I've always been a big fan of psychology. Superego. So, Freud said id, ego, and superego. But what then begs the question of delusions of grandeur? Or are they actual psychic change towards a better understanding of self? A self with limitless potential for growth, and seeking investors for what's sure to be the ride of a lifetime as a functioning member of an oh-so-sick society. So he was into dreams, you might say. Marion Woodman interpreted Freud's dreams, further proving Pavlov's stimulus response, but dug a little deeper into brain chemistry and dopamine-fueled synapses within the conscious and unconscious paths. Except one overlap, the subconscious, where one is neither awake nor asleep. Now, my limited exposure to the woman whose work explored the inner workings of the brain behind a pioneering field of modern psychology left one lasting impression on this student. Combined with the exploration of contemporary theory, mixed with the faith in Carl's work as well as Bill's, these ancient and modern theories still prove true. Need proof? How do you feel about chocolate? Coffee? Nicotine? Alcohol? From illicit substance to prescription medications, for some of these life-sustaining, to others a fate worse than death. Diet and exercise, input, output, there are no secrets. Just get your facts straight before you indulge. Identify your vices before they control you. It really is all in your head. That's about as smart as I can be right now. We're gonna dumb it down a little bit. This one is called the corporate machine. I think anybody can identify with this if you have a telephone and never had to call one of these places. The corporate machine. Hello, and welcome to Most Companies Today Automated System. Please listen to the next 72 selections as our menu options have recently changed. Press or say 1 for English. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Para continuar en español, marque número 8. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. This call may be recorded for quality assurance. Please press or say 1 for English. Soft music intermittent with blaring ads for the latest, greatest, got-to-have-it touchscreen gadget. Usage charges tick in your head until finally, much later, hello, I'm so-and-so, and we'll be providing you with excellent customer service today. May I have all the numbers you have already keyed in? Thank you very much. Based on our records, I am instructing you to bend over and find something to bite, because I feel this may be a little uncomfortable. Now let me place you on a brief hold. 47 minutes pass, then a busy signal recording. All of our customer service representatives are busy assisting other customers. Your call is important to us, but seriously, F off, man, we're busy. Try again later. The corporate machine. Some of these I just use as a means to vent my frustration. You know, everyone's been on hold for 45 minutes trying to get an important phone call in just to get placed on hold, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But I try to make fun and let it roll right off my back. All right, this next one I call PT. PT. Another perfect beach day with the only girl I really love, sweet Mackenzie, my heaven-fallen angel. To breathe life into this tired soul, geriatric-feeling body and forever childlike mind. The sand warm and almost white at our feet and cradling just before us a ton or more of solid granite futon. I lay back filled with love, a love I've never known before, nor cared to know before I woke up to realize what's important. Supplies of many, we are ready to meet today's goals of peace and contentment in good company. And this is my baby girl's pet giraffe. He doesn't have a name, but he's got a story, all right. Maybe one day he'll let you know. But for right now, he just hangs out, keeps company, and whenever she sees him, she lights up. Okay, so this next one I want to read is called This Past Month. Now, it wasn't physically this past month. This was written a little while ago. But I really had to process a whole lot that happened in 1 month. This past month. Just to recap or process the events that transpired, clear memories of our bike ride in the pool together, happy. Then the fight. I didn't have the check. The argument. Reality was too much to live in, and without a guide, I checked out. Depression immediately came, and I felt beaten. The woman I loved had enough. I didn't know who I could trust. This alternate world of isolation and struggling to survive with selfish, weak, fear-based decision-making always leads to failure. Trouble is, in the past month at least, it had never been stopped. Finally, when I had run out of good luck and second chances, on a groggy mid-August morning, either divine intervention or a moment of clarity, a step away from denial and up the ladder of self-awareness, and I regained sight of the solid man I was. Both lover and father, with much to offer this world, finds means to get the word out. I write these words for selfish motives, for I never want to forget how easy it is to drop the ball, not know it, and run even faster empty-handed across the goal line. Not this time, offsides, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down. Not even halftime. New England always comes out swinging after halftime. Like any given Sunday, anything can happen, and now I know how to deal with what comes down the line, or at least lessen the margin of error.
Oxygen so pure it dizzies, and one by one we open our snow-blind eyes to see the long green kiss coming our way. Even the girl writing, "My heart is a city in the rain," puts down her pen, and she can't help it, leans into the gold light that drapes across that page. Thank you.
Kimberly, thank you everybody. Julie said that next month we'd be going back to our old format, but that doesn't mean that you're not all welcome.
May I make an announcement, John?
Oh, please.
For those of you who haven't heard, I'm celebrating my 90th birthday on April the 12th, and in the afternoon we're doing an open mic reading at the Stratum Library, and some of you are already signed up, and I'm delighted to have you come, and I'd like to make sure the rest of you poets know about it. And just right now, it's 2 minutes to a poem and a one-sentence introduction. You actually get a chance to do an introduction. And you can email me at patparnell@comcast.net, or if you have John Michael's contact information, you can send it to John Michael Albert. He's the registrar. I think it's going to be a wonderful afternoon, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone who's coming and reading or who's just coming to be part of the afternoon. Thank you, John. It's April the 12th, yeah. 90 years old, isn't that something?
Just a day over 30. You are as the waning moon, fishing boat putting out to sea, a dove's flank, headlights disappearing to the hedgerow. Yet you remain, silhouetted in the semi-dark, not posing, noble, a statue in alabaster, in marble, in ivory, every facet, every feature perfect. I look for omens, portents, in the waxing room. Look for you inside every car that is like yours, in every face framed by hair the color of yours, through every window from which we looked out, behind every door through which we passed, on every sidewalk that echoed the clicking of your heels. I cling to the night, the darkness, inveigh against the light that would reveal through the leafless stick trees, the fishing boat returning, the doe returning, everything returning, everything that's not you.
Thank you, John. That was magnificent. Oh, love the hair, love it. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful painting, of course. My name's Trina Daigle, and I'm from Newmarket, New Hampshire. And I'm going to try a new one on you. They wake. Our tired, tumbled stone wall is waking. It rises now from frozen ground. Corn snow still claws and clamps down on lichened fissures of granite outcrop of boulder on boulder and misshaped stone. Russet leaves from our great lady maple lay torn, tattered and pressed between open pockets of moss and air, of broken twig and branch. This is sugar season, and the scent of winter is out of breath. As it lifts layer after layer of what is left to melt. It lingers in the air among the call of cardinal, the rap-tap-tap of woodpecker, and high-perched sentinel caw, caw after caw. There is, too, this pre-spring mulled musk, like cold black coffee reheated in last morning's cup. I stand here on our back deck, wrapped in my red fleece robe, old suede Uggs on my feet, and a mug of brewed tea I palm like a prayer, waiting for what is about to become new. It has been too long, I think out loud, these damned days, housebound against frost and chill of ice. I am weary, tired to even look at the back door shovels that lean and nest like spoons. I am worn from all the heft and heave, the hey-ho, here we go again and again. I tighten my grip around the warmth and sip as I study the long wall, where out from under the weight I spot one small creature. It has crept upon a gray stone where it has paused brief, and I see its slender meat stripes across its back, its tail as straight as any exclamation, and I laugh when it dashes like a quick light switch turned on, then off. They wake. They dare to break from their underground burrows, darkened chambers and halls. Soon, soon, one will fill my cat's jaws, where all winter she has twitched in sleep the chase, the kill, the delivered gift, that one she'll drop on the mat by our closed back door. Yes, our tired, tumble stone wall is waking.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Next. Well
I'm gonna go right
situated.
to the place.
Have Parnell.
Can you get that chair? Thank you. Yeah. great to be here and say that Trina and I are the featured readers in June. Right? So, our dedicated visit. You think you can hear me if I sit down?
Yeah.
Let me try. Let's get the seat back there first. This is my school teacher's voice. All right. Eye contact, that's the answer. I thought tonight would be a good night to read this poem, which is based on vignettes from the journal I kept on our trip to Ireland in summer 1993. And it's called Thinking Irish. And I think I really need to explain the first line. Charles Stewart Parnell was known as the uncrowned King of Ireland. And when we were in Bunratty Castle in the gift shop, the girl looked at my husband's credit card and said, "Have ye come to claim your crown?" On O'Connell Street, the uncrowned king, no right to fix the boundary to the march of a nation. A gold harp behind him, his right hand outstretched, pointing down Parnell Street to the Parnell pub. Screeners' windows open wide to the insect-free Irish air. Patrick drove the snakes from Ireland. He also drove out flies and mosquitoes, a hot water bottle, an aching back, doorknob sign hanging, the Sunday London Times, a knock on the door. Did you want not to be disturbed all day long? Yates sits in his tower in a splayed wicker chair, trying to know the dancer from the dance. In the James Joyce pub in Limerick, familiar character of Joyce fills one wall. On another wall, the Joyce Tower. On the corner TV, reruns of Falcon Crest. Once more to the bus, dear friends. On the golf links edging Galway Bay, a ruined castle stands hazard to the green. And this was Bill's cousin that was showing us around. There were 9 children in this West Cork farmhouse, 2 rooms, a loft under the thatch, all ruins now. Parents, the mother's mother, the father's mother, the father's aunt. Her family had all gone to America. There was no one left to look after her. The children slept in the loft, walked barefoot to school 5 miles away, a mile each way for drinking water. You can't even imagine living that way, can you? 6 miles to church each way, twice a weekend. Confession on Saturday, fasting on Sunday. We were happy. Irish traffic jam, and any of you who've driven in Ireland will recognize this. Red-rumped sheep fill the road, oblivious, grazing on the verge. Hunkered in her niche in the window wall, Sheila Nagy glares into the hall of the great keep, reminding entertainers in medieval gowns. Underneath your velvet, your lace and fake pearls, underneath your makeup and your soft young flesh, your singing and dancing, I am what endures, the sinew, the bone, the strength. Relic of the Neolithic, a standing stone inscribed in scratches of Alm, still stands erect in the green meadow, a scratching stone for horses and cattle. Blarney Castle is bigger on the outside than Bunratty Castle, but smaller on the inside. But Radicastle is bigger on the inside than Blarney, but smaller on the outside. I am thinking Irish. On the way to the airport, the young, earnest guide talks of stabbings in Limerick, of knives hidden in wall niches. Behind her, through the windshield, glows a rainbow, arcing above the Shannon Road, spilling its gold down the green hillside.
Thank you, Pat. You? You, Kennedy?
A harbinger. On St. Patrick's Day, a cardinal in the yard. Till the advent of emerald tiara, this prelate goes on. Do I have time for anyone? Oh, sure.
Pat is a guide.
Huh?
His Pat is a guide.
This Pat is the guy. Gonna whack me, Pat? No.
I trust you.
At Squaw Valley. Hearing about the sickness poems a certain poet had been writing, I find myself inclined this late afternoon, after having had to ask her to repeat himself again and again. I'm inclined, I say, to put my deafness on the line. And even when he said collector over and over again, I still didn't get it. Not that I'd ever really thought since childhood of the possibility of my collecting things. Probably not at least since I swapped, and for what, my dead uncle's stamp collection. But of course, I've been collecting, even if not as a collector. Collecting, for instance, stairs from the little boys next door back home who haven't somehow figured out yet what a great guy I am. Stares and silences, especially from Matt, and an occasional smile from Mike, now that I know enough not to call him Pat. I have time for another one now? Sure.
Absolutely.
On a fairly mild February afternoon, returning from a laborious walk, the ice he stepped on having been mushy and in no way hard and slippery, he's aware of the absence of birds as well as the absence of divine energy. At least, he concludes, you are not going skidding fast to the end of walking. Dear Valjean, who would have thought when I left one morning headed for Biddeford in the neighboring state of Maine, that still fairly early in that day, I'd find myself back in England, back in Scion Park, where, as I'm sure you remember, we wandered for a good part of the summer's day. I wouldn't have thought so, but there I stood on the gravel outside the Butterfly House, the path through Florence Fields being too wet to tempt me into them. But the peacocks were there then, as then, still strangely curious about visitors, strangely curious even after all that time, and not bashful about exhibiting their many-colored finery. Who would have thought, after all these years, you having left us more than a dozen of them ago, that I'd be addressing you again within sight of Florence Fields? Thank you.
WB.
Okay. I have a very quiet voice, so can everybody hear okay? Okay. On bottles and cans. Billy Blue Del Goya spins dreams across the radio waves of funding a film on the profits of bottles and cans. The film, Noah, with star Morgan Freeman as a homeless collector of bottles and cans, who, though terminally ill, dreams of drifting to paradise. Costa Rica calls to him in the shining reflections of bottles and cans. This morning, I watched the faceless women digging through the bottles and cans in our green recycling bin. The containers, remnants,
Exhalations, the only trail I can discern, masquerading as the wind-blown spindrift against the rapidly deepening sky. Each release, a sacrifice, an expiration. Yet with every frozen breath surrendered, another galaxy spawned, revealing a portal to the infinite. And with every inhalation, each passing day grows brighter, offering the promise of renewal, a gift of inspiration. Even on this, the shortest day of the year, which holds within its brief duration the most brilliant moment of my life.
Good job. Matthew Gillis.
Hi folks, Matthew Gillis. This little book, How I Beat Cancer. I'm going to read a couple from it. First one is called Those Three Words. I should have known before it happened, but denial is more powerful than certainty. And when the pressure became too much in class, I called from a payphone in the foyer. The receptionist put me on hold. My appointment was for Friday to get the test results, but it was Tuesday and I knew they were in. The doctor came on the line around 11 a.m. Give me some good news, Doc. I usually like to do these things in person. I know, but I can't wait. Well, there's no easy way to say this. I blacked out for a moment, then hung up the phone and walked down the hall in the direction of class. But I walked past the classroom and saw the overheads beaming down on students now spilling out of open doors. But there was no sound. I could see mouths moving and papers shuffling, but it was as if someone had pressed mute on a television. And those three words echoed in my head as I fell to the floor. I have cancer. It was a few years ago. I mean, it's all good, don't worry. This next one is called Justa Sestina. I fell into a burning ring of fire with no way out, it seemed, save death, predestined early to make peace and arrangements made with those I love. Not without the feeling of remorse did then come a bittersweet reward. But with that bittersweet and wrong reward, a passion burned despite the smoldered fire. The faded memory of fresh remorse meets swiftly through the night with death. Both knowing mortal hurt of lost love, we resolved to disarm and make peace. You held your arms out in sign of peace, and I, quickly to accept a most glorious reward, felt both in and out and back again in love, with never feeling need to fuel the fire, never having to explain my perfect death, and never to again feel cold remorse. Now a cold drink on a warm day I will always love, leaving money as my means to make remorse. Still clearly hot, it's hard to stop atop the fire when nearly warned about the threats of peace. Now war is so devastating with no obvious reward, save the promise of so many young deaths. naivete and purity suffer an untimely death, while what is left in its place cannot be love. How can someone see an insignificant reward? The first and last reward is our swift death. Stoke the dying fire to ignite our burning love. Just know, remorse will cost us both our peace. Next one, wordplay. This one's kind of fun. If I could say it without stumbling. Wordplay. The past, a vast mystery at last, a day away from death's decay, when what has come to pass I'm left to stay in saddest maths. And what is heard from flightless bird is what we see from tree to tree, when spoken word from you to me has left us grieving truth disturbed. Regrets are many any season, changing when we find a reason. Maim the play to seize the treason in my eyes before I die. Pour the gas atop the fire, ignite a blast, the demon's choir sings to dash my hopes for higher, my dreams I need, find a buyer. When all is lost and hope is gone, I find some way to carry on. In vain I strain, my brain drains to change, but find the same. I miss you, I want to scream your name and bleed this poet's dream. Depraved of hope, in need of love, things are just not what they seem. The last one we're going to do, in that moment. This brilliant ball of fire descending from a crimson heaven, in a likeness of its splendor, mirrored on what was once an endless bed of deep blue possibilities. The sweet melody of songbirds, it harmonized the gentle breeze, while all the while the reeds would whistle and entice the clouds to dance. And each cloud itself would slowly speak in monotone, though low and deep, one silent, solemn word of wisdom as they danced across the crystal sky. And at that moment, hope flew by, followed next by honesty, unity at its side. Then the most powerful of all came near, hovering beneath her wing, transparent still behind her mask, true beauty through me to my feet to ask, could I be the one to comprehend the depths to which severity could stretch beyond entirety? And I stood wide-eyed, as was she, hand in hand in love's embrace. Divine, I brushed my hand across her face, and then it happened. I pulled her close to taste her smile, and with that, flesh on flesh, my soul escaped inside her chest, our hearts entwined, combined and blessed. The empty space inside my mind was filled at last, one last time. That passing breeze, now gone for good, had left one final word. Thank you.
Just so everybody knows, the core group of Serenity Poets meets every month, and next month we will have just our regular share. In May, Bob Moore's going to be our feature, and he'll probably do some music and poetry for us. And then as Pat said, she and Trina will be in June. And then probably in the summer we'll do our regular again. So thanks everybody again. John is the host, and I'm his publicist. So
You did a good job tonight.
thank you. This is a spring poem called Seasons Past. Beneath the deadfall of autumn, moldering under the melted snow of winter, lay a single rusting brass key, without fob or ring, just a key. A copy you could tell by the markings, no description or brand name, to identify what the lone key might unlock. Caught in a rake tine, it roughly scraped, dragged from the brown-edged lawn onto pavement, causing me to glance down at the sound. I lifted the rake to my gloved hand. Plucking the key loose, I dropped it into the pocket of my denim jacket and resumed gathering old wet leaves and decaying twigs into a pile, a myriad of dull winter-saturated debris, forgotten leaves past the glory of vibrant reds. The huge maple leaves lay in a sad heap, no memory of brilliant gold. I listened to the raspy strokes of the rake on the pavement's edge, uncovering strange silhouetted shapes, staining the spring walk in odd patterns, Rorschach-like on the cement canvas. My hand went unconsciously to the key in my pocket, the rake forgotten, imagination opening the door to many autumn and winter seasons past. I'm just going to do my little funny shamrock subjection, just because it's St. Patrick's Day. As you look me over, you can see I'm just a clover. What is all the fuss about? You say I've got an extra leaf, which holds magic beyond belief, and somehow this gives me extra clout? Pick the shamrock from the grass. Is this your master scheme? Alas, it's just nature's anomaly. There's clover in vast profusion. It seems quite the intrusion. I may be just a cephaly, but trampled in the meadow by every lass and fellow becomes quite annoying. And while I'm on the subject, I'd like to politely object to the nature you're destroying. If I am truly wrought with luck, then why must my leaves you pluck? Just let the shamrocks lay. The beauty of all magic is not to own or have it. Just leave me on display.
Bob Moore.
The last Clover poem, 4-leaf clover, reminds me of a Neil Young song. Have you heard this one? Love is a rose, but you better not pick it. Only grows when it's on your vine. Handful of thorns and you know you've missed it. Lose your love when you say the word mine. This first poem is a poem that is a kind of a seasonal thing. It was written, I think, last year about this time. And I do a lot of driving. I do something I shouldn't do, which is I know that some people have tried to talk me out of this, and they've suggested that I use an iPhone and talk into an iPhone, that kind of thing. I write while I drive. I wouldn't recommend doing it.
Oh my God.
And, but I can't help myself. And one of these days I'll be you'll see my name in the paper,
We'd like to keep you around a while.
Well, see what I can do about changing that, but in the meantime.
What kind of car do you drive?
So anyway.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. The one with all the vents.
While I
Don't drive in Exeter anymore.
right. While I drive, I see some kind of common themes. Mostly what you see from the viewpoint of the wheel, behind the wheel. And I see a lot of trees. And this poem is dedicated to the trees that I pass by every day. That's called Patience. The trees stood still. They knew enough to wait. They knew that every season wasn't great for blooming, so they slowed down and they dreamed of what the light would feel like when it streamed for hours in the warmth of a summer day. When asked if they felt cold, they wouldn't say. But given the chance, they wore a coat of snow and waited for the length of days to grow. They watched the squirrels and chipmunks fetch their meals, but never spoke a word of how it feels to while away the time and not complain, or worry if the forest would sustain their young, or fret about the need for room. Instead, they held out for a chance to bloom. And this is kind of a silly thing that I saw on the floor, something that reminded me of well, I won't describe it, I'll just kind of say this poem is called Pickup. I saw a question mark lying on the floor, so I picked it up. Who could ask for anything more?
my spring theme, even if it is still winter. Thank you all for those really beautiful readings and poems. I'm always so moved to hear you all, and those of you who memorize your poems, wow, it just is really something. So this is called The Yawn. And it's set at UNH. I used to teach at UNH. The Yawn. Long streams of afternoon light pour in through classroom windows, shut tight all these winter months against persistent cold. Chalk dust floats in slow waves on the air, swirls as my students shuffle in on grime-soaked paths of ice and sand. They're dutiful, pale, smaller in their bodies on these drawn, withering days. Even the languid scritch and rustle of their work, taken up without argument, is soporific as the clock's slow tick, tick, tick. Then from the back, a yawn. Not some clamped down apologetic thing, but a full body yowl. Head thrown back, arms and legs flung wide, this boy's face all glistening teeth and pink tongue. He shakes his head and licks his lips like some stuporous bear, settles into himself and the work at hand, but that yawn has changed everything, charged the air we're breathing, and suddenly we're shifting in our seats, startled by what's been released. Moist neutrons of lone crocus, shivery protons of birdsong and fern. And I don't mean imagined cosmic blush of spring breaking out like some invisible Big Bang, but the real thing, fever-pitched, right here in 101. All that chalk dust turned to pollen, those grime-soaked paths to sweet water.
All right, I think that's all we're going to do for today. I just want to thank you all for tuning in on the special St. Patrick's Day show. Again, I'm Matthew Gillis, and we'll see you next time on Poetry with Matt.